The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as Elon Musk walked in, not with a high-powered legal team, but alone. The judge glanced at him, raising an eyebrow. The prosecution smirked, confident they had this case locked in. After all, they had. A team of top-tier attorneys, armed with evidence and arguments, designed to bring Musk to his knees. The judge leaned back in his chair. "Mr. Musk, are you sure you want to represent yourself?" he asked, barely concealing his amusement. Musk nodded. "I think I'll manage." The first few minutes were routine. Legal formalities, statements from the prosecution, a barrage of technical jargon meant to overwhelm him. But then Musk spoke. He dissected their arguments piece by piece, using logic so precise it left the courtroom in stunned silence. At first the judge smirked. Then he leaned forward. Then his expression changed entirely. The prosecution started, scrambling, flipping through their notes, whispering to each other. Musk countered every claim, exposed every flaw, and turned the case on its head. The once dismissive judge now listened intently. The jury, who had expected a routine trial, sat wide-eyed, hanging on to every word. The prosecution's confidence crumbled. Musk wasn't just defending himself, he was rewriting the narrative. When the final arguments were made, the judge took a deep breath. The tension was thick, the outcome uncertain. But when the verdict was announced, the shockwaves spread far, beyond the courtroom. Had Musk just exposed a broken system, or had he changed the rules entirely? One thing was clear: this wasn't just a trial. It was a moment that would be talked about for years to come. As the verdict echoed through the courtroom, the weight of the moment settled over everyone present. Gasps rippled through the audience. The prosecution sat frozen, their case shattered by a man they had underestimated. The judge, who had once chuckled at the idea of Musk standing alone, now looked at him with something between respect and disbelief. Musk remained still, his expression unreadable, but those who knew him well could see the glimmer of satisfaction in his eyes. He had done what no one expected, turned the tide of a case that was supposed to bury him. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed, cameras flashing, microphones shoved forward. "Mr. Musk, how did you manage to dismantle the prosecution's case?" one journalist shouted. Musk smirked. "I just pointed out the truth. The rest took care of itself." The clip went viral within hours. Social media erupted with debates. Some hailed him as a genius who had exposed flaws in the justice system. Others argued he had simply used his intelligence and influence to bend the rules in his favor. But one thing was undeniable. This case had changed everything. Legal analysts dissected his arguments, trying to understand how he had outmaneuvered an entire team of seasoned attorneys. Business leaders took notes, inspired by his ability to navigate chaos. His critics scrambled to find a way to discredit the win, but the evidence was clear. He had played by the rules, and he had won. Back in his office, Musk glanced at his phone. A flood of messages from friends, rivals, and world leaders filled his inbox. But instead of basking in the moment, he simply set the phone down and turned to the next challenge ahead. Because for Musk, this was just another day, and the future was still waiting to be built. As the media frenzy escalated, news outlets dissected every detail of the trial. Analysts debated whether Musk had simply outsmarted the prosecution, or if this was a turning point for high-profile legal battles. Some called it a masterclass in strategic thinking. Others warned it set a dangerous precedent. If a billionaire could single-handedly take on the system and win, what did that mean for the future of justice? Despite the noise, Musk remained unfazed. While the world speculated, he was already focused on his next big move. His companies continued to push boundaries. SpaceX prepared for another ambitious launch. Tesla accelerated its AI-driven innovations, and Neuralink inched closer to breakthroughs that once seemed like science fiction. But the trial had changed something. It wasn't just another legal battle. It had become a symbol. To some, Musk was a disruptor who had exposed flaws in the establishment. To others, he was a billionaire who had proven that power and intelligence could bend the rules in one's favor. Meanwhile, government regulators scrambled to reassess their approach. If they couldn't outmaneuver Musk in court, they needed a new strategy. Whispers of new policies and tighter restrictions began circulating in Washington. They wouldn't let this happen again. As Musk boarded his private jet, a reporter managed to get close. "Mr. Musk, do you think this case will change how billionaires are treated under the law?" Musk paused for a moment, then shrugged. "Laws don't change the future. Innovation does." With that, he stepped onto the plane, leaving behind a courtroom that would be remembered in history, and a world still trying to catch up with him. As the jet lifted off, Musk gazed out the window, watching the city shrink beneath him. The trial was over, but the real battle was just beginning. Governments, regulators, and corporate rivals weren't going to forget what had just happened. If anything, they would come at him harder. Back in Washington, officials met behind closed doors, strategizing their next move. "We can't let this happen again," one regulator muttered. "He's made a mockery of the system." They debated new policies, tighter regulations, and possible investigations. If Musk had found a way to beat them in court, they would find another way to contain him. Meanwhile, the world was still reacting. Investors saw the trial as proof of Musk's resilience. Tesla's stock soared, SpaceX secured new contracts, and Neuralink's research funding surged. In Silicon Valley, entrepreneurs studied his tactics, wondering how they could replicate his ability to outthink the system. Musk, however, was already focused on the future. His legal victory was just another step in a much larger plan. He met with his teams at SpaceX, Tesla, and Neuralink, pushing forward with ambitious goals. Mars colonization, AI advancements, brain-computer interfaces, nothing had changed. If anything, the trial had only fueled his drive. But he knew the opposition wouldn't stop. They never did. As he stepped into a Tesla prototype, testing the latest self-driving software, his phone buzzed. A message from an anonymous contact. "They're planning something big. Be ready." Musk smirked. He was always ready. The world wasn't done challenging him. But he wasn't done changing the world. Back in Washington, the discussions had turned into action. Regulatory agencies were quietly drafting new policies aimed at closing the loopholes Musk had exploited. The SEC, FTC, and even international governments were looking for ways to rein him in. They couldn't afford another courtroom defeat. Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley, a different kind of conversation was taking place. Investors and entrepreneurs were studying Musk's legal battle like a playbook. If he could take on the system and win, what else was possible? Some saw him as a genius rewriting the rules. Others feared he was creating a world where billionaires were untouchable. Musk, however, wasn't interested in the debates. His focus remained on the future. At a private SpaceX facility, he stood before a team of engineers reviewing the latest Mars mission plans. "We don't have time for distractions," he said. "If we get this right, a single courtroom battle won't even matter in the grand scheme of things." But the distractions weren't going away. One evening, as he was reviewing AI developments, at Tesla, another message appeared on his phone. This time, it wasn't a vague warning. It was a direct threat. "You embarrassed them. They won't let it go. Watch your back." Musk leaned back in his chair, unfazed. He had faced adversity before: government crackdowns, media attacks, corporate rivals. But something about this felt different. The battle wasn't just legal anymore. It was personal. As he stepped outside into the cool night air, he looked up at the stars. Humanity's future was still out there, waiting to be built. If the system wanted to fight him, so be it. They were playing defense. He was playing for the future. The days following the verdict were anything but quiet. Behind the scenes, forces were mobilizing. Musk's name dominated news cycles, and while his supporters hailed him as a visionary who had outmaneuvered the system, his critics warned of unchecked power. But the real fight was happening in the shadows. Late one night, as Musk reviewed new Starship designs at the SpaceX headquarters, a secure call came through from an old contact, someone with deep ties to the government. "You need to be careful," the voice said. "They're not just coming after your companies anymore. They want to dismantle you." Musk smirked. "They've been trying for years. What's different this time?" "This time, they're desperate. You humiliated them in court. The system doesn't like being exposed. They're planning something big, something that won't be fought in a courtroom." The line went dead. Musk sat back, considering the possibilities. He had seen governments react to disruption before. Tesla's push for EV dominance had triggered years of regulatory hurdles. SpaceX had faced resistance from aerospace giants, and Neuralink's research had been met with skepticism and fear. But this felt like something more. The next morning, an emergency board meeting was called at Tesla. A classified intelligence report had surfaced, suggesting that multiple agencies were coordinating an effort to investigate Musk's businesses, looking for any possible opening to take him down. Some on the board panicked. "They're going to freeze assets, halt projects, tie us up in legal battles for years." Musk remained calm. "Then we don't play defense. We go faster." He turned to his top engineers. "How soon can we accelerate AI integration? Move up the Mars mission timeline? If they want to slow us down, we make it impossible to keep up." His team exchanged nervous glances. "You're talking about skipping phases, pushing untested technology." "Exactly," Musk said. "Disrupt them before they disrupt us." The decision was made. Tesla's self-driving AI was fast-tracked. SpaceX's next-generation rocket moved to immediate testing. Neuralink prepared for a breakthrough announcement. If the system wanted a war, Musk would fight it the only way he knew how, by making the future arrive faster than they could control it. But even as his companies surged forward, unseen forces were working in the background. A leaked document from a government agency hinted at something bigger, a coordinated takedown of Musk's empire, involving not just regulations, but political pressure, financial maneuvering, and even intelligence operations. One sentence stood out from the report. "Elon Musk has become a national security risk. Action is required." The game had changed, and Musk knew it was only the beginning. In a dimly lit conference room in Washington, a group of high-ranking officials gathered around a classified dossier stamped with the words, "Urgent Strategic Containment Plan. Elon Musk." The pages inside detailed an unprecedented strategy, not just to regulate Musk's businesses, but to systematically neutralize his influence on technology, industry, and even global politics. "He's moving too fast," one official said. "If we don't act now, we'll lose control over industries we've dominated for decades." Across the country, Musk sat in a Tesla prototype, its dashboard displaying real-time AI-driven analytics. His phone vibrated, another encrypted message. "They've initiated Phase 1. Expect financial warfare first. Stay ahead." Musk smirked. He had already seen the first signs: sudden regulatory hurdles, unexplained delays in SpaceX's contracts, and unusual fluctuations in Tesla's stock. They were trying to slow him down without making it obvious. But he wasn't about to play by their rules. At a closed-door meeting with his executive teams, Musk laid out a bold counteroffensive. "We don't just defend, we disrupt. They attack Tesla. We launch a new AI initiative that changes transportation forever. They block SpaceX funding. We secure private investors and accelerate Mars colonization plans. They hit Neuralink. We go public with breakthroughs that make regulation impossible. His teams nodded, but there was unease. One executive hesitated. What if they escalate beyond financial pressure? Musk's eyes narrowed. Then they'll be making the biggest mistake of their lives. Meanwhile, the pressure mounted. Federal agencies quietly opened new investigations. Media outlets received anonymous leaks, painting Musk as reckless, dangerous, a threat to national security. Rumors swirled that major banks were being pressured to scrutinize his financial dealings. Then came the first real move. A senior Tesla executive was arrested on vague allegations of securities fraud. The headlines exploded. Tesla in crisis. Key insider detained in federal probe. The markets reacted. Stocks dipped. Analysts speculated. Was this the beginning of Musk's downfall? Sitting in a SpaceX conference room, Musk read the news, expression unreadable. He turned to his assistant. Get me a list of every company working on quantum computing, decentralized finance, and private satellite networks. The assistant hesitated. That's a strange combination. Musk leaned forward, a glint in his eye. If they're trying to control the system, we build a new one. The game had entered its next phase, and Musk was about to change the rules entirely. The global chessboard was shifting, and Musk knew it. The moment the arrest hit the news, his enemies expected him to panic, to retreat, to play defense. But Musk didn't play defense. As the world speculated on Tesla's future, he was already moving his next pieces into place. Behind closed doors, he made a series of quiet but explosive decisions. Decisions that would shake the very foundations of finance, technology, and government oversight. First, Tesla Coin was born. A decentralized, AI-driven cryptocurrency designed to bypass traditional banking systems. Tesla Coin wasn't just a digital currency. It was an economic weapon, backed by Tesla's massive energy infrastructure and integrated directly into its vehicles and charging networks. It threatened to make legacy financial institutions obsolete overnight. Second, Project Exodus went live. Under extreme secrecy, SpaceX accelerated plans for an independent satellite internet system, one that couldn't be controlled, censored, or shut down by any government. This wasn't just Starlink. It was a quantum-encrypted, decentralized communications network that would allow free information flow anywhere on Earth. And then there was the third move. Musk's AI division, hidden deep within Neuralink's research labs, announced a breakthrough, a self-learning AI that could operate beyond the limits of current computing systems. While governments debated AI regulation, Musk was already 3 steps ahead, ensuring that control over artificial intelligence wouldn't rest in the hands of bureaucrats. The message was clear. They could attack him, but they couldn't stop the future. Meanwhile, back in Washington, panic set in. He's not just fighting back, a senior official muttered, reviewing the intelligence reports. He's building his own system. If he succeeds, we lose control of commerce, communication, even national security. The response was swift. A major international summit was called, bringing together the world's most powerful regulators and corporate leaders. Their agenda? To stop Musk before it was too late. But while they plotted behind closed doors, Musk was already executing his next move. At a secret location, an elite team of engineers and developers gathered. On the screen before them, Musk had typed 2 words into the system: Launch Protocol. No, one knew exactly what that meant, but the world was about to find out. The summit in Washington was a who's who of global power: CEOs of banking giants, top government officials, intelligence operatives, and tech regulators from the US, Europe, and Asia. The meeting was off the record, hidden from the public eye. On the table before them, classified documents outlined Musk's recent moves. Tesla Coin, a financial system beyond government control. Project Exodus, a satellite network that could bypass censorship. Quantum AI development, a potential intelligence shift no one could regulate. He's not just building companies, one official muttered. He's building a parallel civilization. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the implication. If Musk succeeded, governments would lose control over the economy, the internet, and even artificial intelligence itself. Then came the decision: escalate. Phase 2 of the containment plan was approved. The first strike came just hours later. Tesla's global supply chain was disrupted overnight. Key shipments were mysteriously delayed. Regulatory inspections increased tenfold, and several major suppliers suddenly canceled contracts. Then, the financial system hit back. Tesla Coin was blacklisted by central banks in multiple countries, with governments declaring it a threat to financial stability. Media outlets ran coordinated hit pieces, warning of Musk's growing power and painting him as a rogue billionaire playing dangerous games with democracy. But Musk wasn't surprised. He watched it all unfold from a high-tech command center deep inside SpaceX's headquarters. Screens displayed live market data, government movements, and encrypted messages from allies inside the system. Then came the real attack. A high-ranking official from a major intelligence agency had just leaked a bombshell memo. If economic measures fail, contingency plans include cyber disruption and direct intervention. Musk read the words carefully, then leaned back in his chair. Direct intervention, he repeated, a smirk forming. They really don't understand who they're dealing with. He turned to his security team. Double encryption on all communications, increased Starlink surveillance, and it's time to activate Black Swan. The engineers in the room exchanged glances. Black Swan was a last resort protocol, something even Musk had hoped he wouldn't need. But the system had made its move. Now, it was his turn, and the world wasn't ready for what came next. A storm was coming. As the world debated whether Musk was a visionary or a threat, his enemies didn't wait. Phase 2 of their operation had begun. The first sign came at 2:14 a.m. Tesla's AI servers detected anomalous activity, a sophisticated cyber attack targeting its autonomous driving network. Within minutes, Starlink's security protocols flagged an intrusion attempt on its satellite relays. Somewhere in Washington, someone had decided that economic warfare wasn't enough. This was now a technological war. But Musk had anticipated it. As the attack unfolded deep inside a classified Tesla R&D facility, a self-learning AI firewall kicked in. Designed by Musk's top engineers, it didn't just block the attack, it tracked its origin. The results appeared on a screen in front of Musk. IP traces linked to multiple intelligence agencies. One specific location, a secured government data center in Virginia. Musk smirked. They were getting desperate. He turned to his chief security officer. Deploy Black Swan. A single command was sent through encrypted Starlink relays. Thousands of miles away, in an underground server farm powered by Tesla energy grids, a hidden AI superintelligence activated. Black Swan wasn't just a defense system. It was a countermeasure. Within 90 seconds, global cybersecurity experts were scrambling. Mysterious data disruptions hit multiple financial markets. A classified surveillance satellite lost control for 43 seconds. Several major banks saw their AI trading algorithms altered in real time, small, almost imperceptible shifts. To the outside world, it looked like random glitches. To those in the know, it was a warning shot. Back in Washington, alarms blared. In a classified cybersecurity command center. "We've been compromised." One official turned pale. "That's impossible." But it wasn't. Because Musk had just rewritten the rules of cyber warfare. The message was clear. If they wanted to fight him in the shadows, he would drag them into the light. As the global elite scrambled to regain control, Musk made his next move, one that would push the conflict into a whole new dimension. A live broadcast was scheduled. The world was about to hear from Elon Musk himself, and what he was about to announce would change everything. If you enjoyed this video and want more mind-blowing stories like this, don't forget to like this video to show your support, and then comment below. What do you think about Musk's moves? Genius or reckless? Subscribe and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update. Join the community of future thinkers and disruptors. Share this video with friends who need to see this.